Alright, today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be refurbishing a Game Boy Advance that I just got in. This thing is just disgusting. Beats crap. Hopefully it works pretty well. Should be pretty straightforward. I actually have quite a few extra parts, so we're just going to put a new shell on it. The only thing I don't have is going to be the back shell cover. We'll order one of those up though when we're all finished. So let's get started. Let's test to make sure everything works before we do, and if it doesn't, then we'll know where to start with fixing it. It looks like it's been sitting on the bottom somewhere because there's dirt everywhere on this thing. And it works, so that's good news. As ugly as it is. The shell's actually a purple one. It looks like it's been sitting outside. I mean, look at this. This thing went from this color to this color, so it literally sat out in the sun for quite a while. So cool. We got this going. Let's go ahead and disassemble, get the buttons all clean, and then we'll start switching everything back over. The one thing I absolutely love to do is mod these things. Putting the new IPS screens in these makes a huge difference. And no, I don't have any with me. I have one I'm about to do, which is the Indigo one. I'm gonna put an IPS in it. I have like 3 or 4 in stock right now. Not the screens, but I actually made them. I already put them all together. So we're gonna do the last one, I think. And then I just wanted to do a bulk order just to make sure that the screens were gonna work out pretty nicely. And they did. All of them did. So that's the cool part about it. I get to test all the stuff before I start selling it or providing it to what customers I do get in. But if you've seen any of my other videos, I mean, I'm in love with the IPS screens. I just ended up doing a Game Gear as well, and the Game Gear came out better than I could have imagined. I grew up playing with the Game Gear and suffering as much as I did with that thing. I mean, I think anybody who grew up with it knows how bad the screen is. And once you see your games that you've played for so long in what they're actually supposed to look like, as opposed to being, you know, super ghosty with, you know, a horrible backlight, it's insane to see the difference. And well worth it. Well worth it doing it. The back actually doesn't look too bad. Let's see if we can get in a little bit closer. It's dusty, but clean. I'm wondering if it's going to be a huge difference with a new screen in that, because when I do the IPS screen replacements, I actually just leave the original screens in the case. So I'm actually going to just switch in the whole front panel with the new screen. See if that's any big of a difference. I couldn't tell, honestly. Booting up Kirby, I couldn't tell if the screen was damaged or not. I've been honestly trying to come up with places that I can find all these Game Boy Advance. I'd love to get a hold of, I don't know, 10 or so Game Boy Advances just to have. I was on Reddit yesterday, and I guess I totally missed it, but a different version. I've been waiting for the Consolizer to come back into stock, and it hasn't, and I don't know if it ever is going to, but I've been looking for something like that, and I found one. Somebody had mentioned one in a post called Advanced VGA, I think, where it's essentially a board that you replace the screen with from an actual regular Game Boy Advance, and then you can stream it out. Once you solder it up, you can stream out through VGA Game Boy Advance games. And I thought, man, that's a great, awesome thing to have. But it'd be really cool if I had a bunch of Game Boy Advances. Right now, I only have one extra, and it's literally getting an IPS screen today. And then I won't have any. And I search as much as I can. I search around everywhere, and I cannot find a ton. I'm almost thinking I'm going to have to buy some bulk lot on eBay, which I don't really want to do. Because you never know how that's going to go. Luckily, though, I have quite a few parts, and I could fix, theoretically, I could fix, you know, a lot of problems that are wrong with it, but I don't know. Huge fan of pawn shops, but pawn shops aren't getting too many Game Boy Advances these days. You're seeing a lot more Switch Lights and Switches, but those are coming in, going out real quick, and Xboxes. This is literally the most boring part of my job, but honestly, when doing repairs, you're doing cleaning like 70% of the time, and actually fixing what's wrong the rest of the 30 there. Because a lot of customers will bring in consoles and stuff that the issue is honestly just cleaning. Having it dust, you know, clean out the dust or cleaning off pins. Things that have gotten corroded over time. I have to knock on wood though, because honestly I haven't gotten a console that was so gross that I had to put out. Luckily we're in Colorado though, so I don't think I'm gonna find one of those ones that's filled with the cockroaches unless it comes like from another state. But God, I'm really not looking forward to the day when I pop open a console and realize that it's full of old dead bugs or old alive bugs. That's gonna be the day that I'm dreading. So all right, and then so on these ones, see if you can get in there. So on these ones, they got a little bit of scuff marks. It's kind of gross there, but I like to take a little bit of magic eraser and just kind of get in there and clean it out. The magic eraser is a little abrasive, so it will start taking off a little bit of the layer, but you're not getting in there too crazy. These really work really well for a lot of things. For a lot of little small plastics that are okay. I wouldn't use them on lenses or anything like that, like screen lenses, but they work for the purpose here. I mean, when somebody's buying this Game Boy Advance, they're not going to expect it to be 100% like back to brand new. Because this isn't for me. This is honestly for the store itself. And some of these deep scratches you're just never going to get out. I have other replacement side pieces and that kind of thing, but it's not, they're not in any better shape. They're always a little, they've got a little gouges in them, tiny things from when kids drop them on the cement or whatever they do. Because honestly, I mean, that's what happens. These were all owned literally by little kids, like, you know, probably 12 and younger, and they got stuffed in all these weird places, dropped on all these different places, and that's what happens. Then we're just gonna give a wipe down to the actual board itself. It actually looks in decent shape. I mean, I'm really surprised. It looks like as much dirt and stuff was on that screen, it looks like it was pretty well secured. I mean, honestly, look at it. It doesn't look bad at all. But I'm gonna still go through it with a little bit of IPA and clean it off and just make sure it looks good. In my shop, you probably always see this, but I always keep around IPA in a little shot glass, so don't think I'm drinking on the job here. Although, you know, sometimes if you're working on your own stuff, beer here and there, it's kind of nice. Just mainly trying to get the dust off here. This isn't bad shape at all. If it were worse, I'd probably go a lot harder on it, but you're really just kind of working off some of that stuff that was sitting in there for a while. And just trying to get inside this little headphone jack here. Get the pins. The one thing I will do is, so I keep this one. This one's kind of my go-to, like, small for a little bit dirtier stuff that needs to be cleaned with IPA. And then for my fine cleaning with IPA that I know you don't want to get too much soot and stuff into, I use the blue one here. And this is for pins and that kind of stuff. That way, because if you keep using this one for all the dusting and stuff, you'll get dust particles in this, and then when you go to clean the pins, you're going to get some of that dust particles no matter how well you clean it out. Still get some of those dust particles laying back on the pins. So for this one, I kind of keep around for cleaning the most important parts. Cool. So here's the donor one. The screen looks not too bad. I have extras. I got spares, so I'm going to throw that on either way. Jesus. This is my day. Basically just dropping screws, trying to find them. Gets way worse when it's a Nintendo Switch and there's a million other screws. Yeah, this is the new one. This is the old one. Looks much better. We're still gonna clean it up though. The front part was pretty decent. I'm just gonna clean up the back real quick. I have. Like I said, we'll get a new back plate for it. But it's funny how that's like the first piece that goes. It's just the clips on them were just horrible. It wasn't in bad shape, it just might as well, since we're in here, just swap it. They're cheap. We got like 1,000 of them now. This is just a cloth that I have with the Armor All plastic conditioner. It just helps. I mean, I've always done it that way, I guess. It just kind of gives it a shine, but it also rehydrates the plastic so it's not becoming brittle over time. I think it just looks good, honestly. Gives the console just a little bit more. Cool. And that's about it. The only thing we're going to do left to do is peel off that screen cover and we shall be done. Most satisfying part for people. I don't know if the video is doing justice, but it looks 1,000 times better than what it came out as. Like I said, we'll get one more of the back covers for it, and it should be all set. It plays perfectly fine. So we went from this to this. Much better. So cool, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. It was a little bit different than what we normally do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys later.